My name is Professor Kovalevsky, and this is Animal Physiology, ZO 110. This class is a nice overview about how animals work, how their bodies communicate on the inside, and the interactions they have with their environment. This class is completely asynchronous, meaning you can log on when it's convenient for you and get your work done. Each module will present a new topic to you, and you can see your syllabus for a list of the topics. Each module must be completed within the time frame specified for that module, and at the end of each module there will be either one or more than one assignment due. It will usually be a quiz, or there may be a quiz and a discussion assignment, or some other assignment. Your grade will be based on a mixture of these quizzes, assignments, and the exams that we will have throughout the semester. And you can see each assignment and its point value described on the syllabus. This class will be out of 500 points, and there will be plenty of opportunities for extra credit throughout the semester. You can check your syllabus for more detailed information, or you can email me if you have any questions or concerns. Before we get into this week's lecture, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Michelle Berman-Kovalevsky, and I have a bachelor's in biology from Colorado State University. I also earned my master's in biology at University of Central Florida, where I studied stellar sea lion physiology. I've always had a passion for marine mammals, and you'll probably see a lot of that influence in these lectures as we move through this semester. I moved to Santa Barbara in 2000, and I started working as a curator at the in the vertebrate zoology department at the Santa Barbara Museum of Natural History, and I was there until 2014. While I was there, I developed the Marine Mammal Stranding Program, and really looking at marine mammal health and letting that be an indicator as to the health of the Santa Barbara Channel. In 2014, the museum could no longer support the program, so I went out on my own and started a nonprofit called Channel Islands Cetacean Research Unit, or CCRU, and I continue with the Marine Mammal Stranding Program today while I am still working at Santa Barbara City College. So you'll probably see a lot of marine mammal influence in these lectures. Marine mammals have really unique physiological adaptations to live in an aquatic environment, and sometimes cold water as well, keeping in mind that they are mammals. So they do breathe air, they give birth to live young, they have hair, they nurse their young. So they have really highly specialized adaptations to allow them to stay warm, maintain their body temperature, catch their food, nurse their young, and still while some of them are diving very deep and holding their breath for a very long time. So that's why I have a passion for animals and animal physiology. It's really because of these unique adaptations that I've learned over the years in marine mammals. What is physiology? Physiology is the study of function, or the function of animals and how they work. This class is animal physiology, so in this class we will be looking at the scientific study of the life-supporting properties of animals, all of the functions that happen inside their bodies, and the processes of the animals. This discipline covers many processes. Most of these processes are trying to keep the animal in homeostasis, or in a balanced state. So it's going to be looking at the regulation of temperature, blood flow, hormones, reproductive cycles, digestion, metabolism. It's going to be looking at a lot of different disciplines to understand how animals work. Physiology is a very integrated discipline, meaning that we're really incorporating a lot of different types of the sciences into the study of animals and how they work. We will be looking at evolution and how animals evolved to be so adapted for their environments. We will be looking at ecology a bit and how animals are adapted to live in particular habitats and how they give back to their habitat and take from their habitat. And we'll be looking at a little bit of environmental science and how the environment also helps shape animals and their physiology. So we'll be bringing together a lot of different disciplines that are normally studied independently of each other, but in this case, we're integrating them all into how animals work. Let's think about wild animals for a moment. Think about all of the different environments that they live in. Think about some of the extreme environments and some of the more normal or neutral environments that they live in. In these wild environments, these animals, they need to survive, they need to eat, mate, reproduce, and for some, they need to socialize. And all of these are very crucial, important parts of the animal's life. Remember that the end goal of living is to pass on the DNA, your DNA, to the next generation. So we cannot minimize the importance of mating in these processes as we talk about them. Reproduction is essential for all organisms to continue. And in wild animals, that really is what they need to survive for. They need to survive to reproduction and then find a mate and be able to pass on their genetic information. Adaptations are really important for allowing animals to live in such different environments. Adaptations are modifications of the characteristics of organisms. So they're changes in key characteristics of organisms that help those animals or give them an enhanced ability to survive and reproduce. These adaptations need to preserve the structural integrity of these animals. So if an animal is adapting for a specific environment, that animal still needs to be able to maintain a normal body temperature given that whatever that particular animal's temperature range is. We also need to consider pressure, atmospheric pressure, or if it's a deep sea living animal, think about how much pressure there would be deep in the ocean. And also osmotic balance, so being able to maintain the proper amount of water in the body without getting too much water or dehydrating and desiccating or not enough water. Adaptations also need to provide adequate supplies for the animal to survive. All animals need energy to support all of their daily functions and routine organ functions and brain functions and functions to carry out normal everyday things like walking, looking for food, feeding, mating. All of those need energy. And so adaptations need to maintain the adequate supplies needed for these processes. And then also regulation of the metabolic rate. So adaptations need to preserve the animal's ability to feed itself enough to fuel its body. And you want to make sure that you're not, if you're not regulating yourself, that can be very wasteful. So non-regulation is a very wasteful form, and as you will see throughout the semester in nature, most animals try to minimize waste as much as possible. How can animals adapt? Animals can adapt genetically. This would be long-term changes by mutation in their genes, so actual changes in their DNA that help them survive under different conditions. They can adapt through acclimation. So this is when the animal already has the genes present. You just need to express them differently so that the animals can survive. This would be like animals that can acclimate to different seasons. They change their hair coat in winter to be white and then back to brown in summer. And then finally, there's immediate adaptations, which would be modulation of pre-existing enzymes. So it would just be kind of modifying what's already present in the animal. And really, the deciding factor would be time. Time is really important for genetic mutations or adaptations. If a change is needed immediately, let's think about global climate change. And let's say the landscape is changing really rapidly and we don't have time for the animals to catch up genetically, then acclimation would be a better route for animals. If if they have the particular gene needed for them to adapt. Let's talk for a few minutes about water. Water is essential to life, and you hear this frequently, how important water is, but you might not have really paused and really thought about why water is so essential for life. To begin with, water is a universal solvent, meaning that many substances can dissolve in it. It's a great solvent because water molecules are what we call polar. They maintain a little bit of a charge. So as you can see on the image here, the oxygen in red maintains a slightly negative charge, while the hydrogens in white maintain a slightly positive charge. This keeps that water molecule slightly charged, and this attracts things. So the oxygen end attracts other positive molecules, and the positive end attracts other negative molecules. Water molecules are held together through what we call a hydrogen bond, and this is where that positive side of the hydrogens are attracted to the negative side of the oxygens, really sticking together those molecules. This is what also provides water tension. So like you see the little water gliders, water bugs that sit on top of the water, that's because of these hydrogen bonds holding those water molecules together. So even when water is bound together, these charges remain. Polarity also allows water to have a very stable temperature. So in order for things to heat up, they need to move. Temperature is really a measure of the movement of molecules. So in order to get these water molecules moving, you need to break all of the hydrogen bonds in that water before those water molecules can start moving and heating up. If you have a lot of water, that's a lot of hydrogen bonds that you need to break before that water can heat up. Therefore, water is very temperature neutral. It's takes a lot of energy to heat up water. It's very temperature stable. And then again, it makes a great solvent because of this polarity and because it remains slightly charged, and that can attract other positive or negative ions. These characteristics of water are really important qualities. About 60 to 90% of the animal body is made up of water. Water carries all of the nutrients inside your cell or intracellularly, as well as outside your cell or extracellularly. It helps keep our body temperatures relatively stable, and it provides a great medium for lots of different chemical reactions to occur in our body. And as we go through this class in physiology, you'll see that a lot of the processes that we talk about are all based on chemical reactions. And many of these reactions are possible, one, because of proteins, but also because of water. Animal bodies are made of numerous organic or inorganic molecules. Organic just means that they contain carbon. But 99% of the animal body is made of 4 main elements. The first being hydrogen. 63% of our bodies are hydrogen. About 25% of our bodies are made of oxygen. About 9%, almost 10%, are carbon, and then about 1.4% is nitrogen. So you can see the first 2 main elements in our body, hydrogen and oxygen, make up almost 70% of our bodies. And a lot of that has to do with the water. So as we move through this semester, you will see how common these elements are in the different reactions that we discuss and all of the different processes that help sustain life.